Hi guys, welcome back to Insight.
Hello.
I'm
Hello.
Putri. Yes, and today I'm with three of my friends. We have Adi,
Hello.
we have Chacha,
Saja here.
and also we have Adam G.
What's up?
Alright,
Yeah.
hi guys. Today our topic is going to be Type C. What's that?
Type C, eh?
Ooh.
I know it might be triggering to some people. However, I think our topic today is totally, super important because we're going to talk about racism. Do you guys know what racism is?
I
Yeah.
think, yeah, I
It's a
think we
heavy
all know.
topic.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's good enough. But I'm going to explain what racism is towards our followers. So, racism is a type of prejudice that may manifest as aggression, intimidation, harassment, abuse, or humiliation. It
Mm.
often consists of unfavorable stereotypes and racial discrimination against specific people. For instances, there's certain views about black people, about Malaysians, about Chinese people. So that's what racism is. All right, guys?
Yeah.
And
Alright.
at the same time, racism are also interrelated with the term discrimination. Discrimination describes how different groups are treated differently based on their age, gender, race, ethnicity, religion, nationality, sexual orientation, and other factors. This social issue happens when someone has the authority to discriminate against, oppress, or restrict the rights of others, addition to the bias whether it be institutional or individual. So, in my opinion, every single country on the planet Earth have their own racism issues.
True.
I think it's very, lame if you talk about the racism issues in Malaysia. So, let's talk about our neighboring country, Singapore. What do you guys think about racism issues at Singapore?
In Singapore, yeah. For me, I think
Mm-hmm.
the most well-known uh racism issue that
Venturing.
they have there
Oh.
is in the work environment in Singapore, especially when a Malaysian enters a Singaporean company.
I
So,
see.
in Singapore, their their work environment is about punctuality, whereas in
Mm-hmm.
Malaysia, the environment is quite laid back or chill. Okay, but when someone enters a Singaporean company, they have
Mm-hmm.
to change that mindset, because Singapore is about chop chop, finish today, or deadline is now, finish now. So I think it could create a lot of pressure to the person, and it could create some discrimination on them. For
Yeah,
example,
I
is like
agree.
when a Malaysian enters a company, then the workers there is like, oh, this guy is very lazy. How can he enter
Ooh.
this
Mm-hmm.
company like this, right?
They create this stereotype.
Yeah, the
Mm-hmm.
stereotype there is very very
Yes.
heavy there, or maybe it could they have like disadvantages in job application or like that, maybe for example, when an Indian person wants to apply for that job, but then
Mhm.
they want like oh, I want a Chinese speaker, you know so it could
Oh, yeah,
create
Oh,
yeah,
I
yeah,
a
see. I see.
correct.
I
They always
understand that.
ask for, yeah, yeah.
so it's very hard for them to find a job when they want a Chinese speaker, right? Yeah. G,
I
have you
understand that.
ever considered working in Singapore before?
Oh, for me, no. But I have a story that it's like the same what you said. It's the same.
Mm-hmm.
For example, my uncle.
Oh.
Yeah, he works in the Singapore, and he said the same thing as your point, which is Singapore is always punctuation is number one priority.
Mm,
And he also mentions that it's quite a challenging thing to do, which is to get used to how the Singaporeans styles work and changing the us style Malaysian.
mm.
Feel like relax, taking our time, and it's quite challenging, but we all get used to it.
Oh, so what I say is true lah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's true what you said.
And so it's real.
Uh, yeah, and I want to add this one thing case about in Singapore that I think it's last year that happened, and it's quite a heavy story.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It's about this there's a young police officer. His name is Sergeant Duvagara Gopal, who is
Mm-hmm.
like he tragically took his own life after alleging racial discrimination and bullying in the Singapore police force.
Ooh, that took a
Oh.
dark turn.
Yeah, it's quite heavy. And this shows that even in Singapore, they also have issues of regarding racism within their own workplace.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
So even racism could lead to mental health issue and could lead to suicide. That's quite
Yes,
sad to hear.
100%.
Chacha,
Chacha,
what do
what
you
do
think?
you
Yeah. What do you
Hmm?
think about the issue that we are talking about right now?
This okay. I like Didi's part, which he mentioned that uh the type C people like to um like they want their
their
staff to
own
be their staff their staff to be Chinese because
ah
it's easy to communicate, maybe I don't
Mm.
know.
You can say that. I think.
So
yeah.
okay, so I have been experienced once when I went to Singapore, which is I think I'm not sure it was racist, but it's my opinion. I think they are racist towards me because once when I went to Singapore, I went to buy something. When I speak in Malay, they don't treat me well as how Singapore people, uh, how Singapore people they treat.
Oh.
Mm, when I think it's not nice because I speak in Malay. Uh, I speak in Malay, then they don't treat me well because the other Singaporeans speak in English and Chinese.
Oh,
So they look at me like sideways.
They
So
said
I
I
think
you. Mm-hmm.
they side eyes me. So in my opinion lah, in my opinion, they are racist towards Malay people, but I don't know. So I think it was quite complicated about racism to speak actually.
Hmm.
So how about you, Tari?
Maybe you can say it's a discrimination because
I
if
think it
I'm not
was
if
discrimination.
I'm not mistaken, the national language of Singapore is Malay. But then they
oh,
Yes,
themselves
yes.
don't speak in Malay, they rather speak in English or what we
I
can
didn't
call
know that.
Singlish. It's a mix
Maybe
of
they don't like
Chinese
speak
and
in Malay.
maybe, or
Hmm.
maybe just they don't have that much knowledge in Malay, I guess.
Because
Be-
some Malay in Singapore, they cannot even speak full Malay.
True,
Yes,
true.
correct. Malay and Singaporean also speak in English.
Yeah, they
I
speak
agree with that.
Singlish
Mm-mm.
because of
I
Why
don't
you
know
the
guys?
why.
more
Mm.
more exposure in Singapore Chinese in English, right? So have Singlish accent there.
Yeah, I agree. But you know what? Actually, I do have a distant relative there at Singapore, like my
Oh.
distant relative. And I think racism also involves around, the influence from their parents, their culture itself. For instances, for my aunts in Singapore, they'll say, "Oh, Malaysian are this, Malaysian are that. They're very lazy. They often like to come to Singapore, blah blah blah." So I think it shapes their own perception of Malaysians.
Mm.
And even against Singaporeans themselves, they'll say, "Oh, Malays are like this. Indians, Singaporeans are like this." So I think that's how racism happens within Singaporeans itself.
Mm,
And also the
maybe
lack of awareness also, I think.
lack of awareness.
Yeah, don't you
I
guys think so?
I think so. I think I agree with you to be honest.
I could agree with that.
Because sometimes when you and when you go into a different country,
Mm-hmm.
you experience a different culture. So the your mindset have to be, how to say,
Open and widen,
open.
isn't
Yeah,
it?
you have to widen your eyes, widen your ears to understand their culture.
I think they need
So
to
as
adapt
not
more
to,
to
yeah,
different
not,
cultures, isn't it?
yeah, not to judge others differently or
Mm-hmm.
badly.
But
Apa?
not all, even that. Even the media itself plays such a huge roles in how racism are happening in Singapore itself.
True. Now,
Ooh.
the with the existence of social media creates more discrimination and racism, I think.
Yeah, I
Especially,
agree.
I want to bring this topic, which is the TikTok in the US. So,
Mm-hmm.
if you guys don't know, TikTok is actually created by a Singapore company.
I see.
I thought it was China. I thought it
No,
was
it's
from China.
actually a Singapore country. Yeah.
Mm,
But
okay.
the US wants to ban TikTok for their
Okay.
Yes.
influence in the US, So they want to ban TikTok, and they brought the CEO of TikTok to the council. But then
Mm-hmm.
they asked the CEO, "Are you working for China?" Like that. So
Mm-hmm.
from
Mm-hmm.
there you
Oh,
can see the racism and discriminations amongst the people that looks Asian.
Yeah, he was judged for looking or having Asian features like.
Yeah. He's
man.
Singaporean, not Chinese. He's not from China.
They imply the stereotype of Asians.
Yeah. So there you can see that US is not as exposed as us to other countries. The lack
Mm-hmm.
of exposure could lead to this type of judgmental mindset, There's racism and
Mm-hmm.
stereotypes. So it's a very bad thing to have, especially
Yeah,
that US is a major country in the world. So yeah.
yeah, I agree. So with that, what do you guys think that we should do in order to prevent this issue from growing ever again? What can we do?
For me, I think we should raise an awareness.
Raise
Maybe
With
awareness.
we like share the resources that we have found useful in our like community to help them learn about how they can play a role in ending the racism and discrimination.
mm-hmm.
Maybe, for example, if they have their young siblings or family members, just set a good example for them.
True.
Try to look for like
Mm,
games or books that could help them learn that we all have the right to dignity and safety.
Mm.
mhm.
I feel like the case of racism is because of they don't have anyone to
Give them
to
exposure, I think.
yeah to teach them, So
Ah,
Oh, the guideline, is
we
it?
ourselves, yeah, to guide them. So we also have to speak up, especially against racist remarks or behaviors that they see, you know,
I
because
Yeah, yeah.
understand.
we ourselves are the person that should help end this racism.
Mm,
Yeah. At the same time, I think policymakers plays such a huge role in curbing the racism issue because I think they have to implement much more stricter and higher regulations regarding racism issues because they do have strict regulations regarding hygiene, cleanliness, or like you can't buy gums. So I think why not also have really huge regulations regarding racism issues itself. So I think policymakers and also the public itself plays a huge role in curbing this issue.
Mm. Do you
So
have
do you
anything
guys
to
want
say?
to talk about anything? Yeah, just a little bit more to add.
maybe I agree with Didi because they are lack of exposure,
Mm-hmm.
and I think they need to learn more how to get to each other.
or have a
Mm,
like
Mm,
better
mm.
understanding of each other, like that.
Sorry, G. Sorry, Adam.
Uh, are you saying like to have like better understanding of them each other?
Yes, yes, yes. Yes, understanding towards each other, like Singapore and Malay people learning each other.
Okay, guys. So let's wrap up. Racism
Let's
is
wrap up.
yeah. Let's wrap up. So racism is such a big issue right now, all over the world, not only at Malaysia, Singapore, US, all over the world. Okay. So, in order to curb this issue, policymakers and also the general public should play their own roles in order to, enhance their country's growth. With that being said,
Mhm.
I hope you guys had so much fun with us. Okay, guys, say bye bye to all our viewers.
Bye bye,
Stay
guys.
tuned
See
to our
you
next episode.
next
Bye.
episode.
Assalamualaikum
Yes,
warahmatullahi
Bye. Don't
thank
forget to
you.
like, share, and subscribe.
Yeah.
Yes, see you next time with Insight. Bye.
Bye
Insight. Like,
wabarakatuh.
bye.
Ya
bye
budak-budak.
bye.